Good morning, everyone. I would like to call our regular, this is a special board meeting?
No, regular,
What's wrong on the agenda?
but it does say special because of the public hearing.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I would like to call our regular board meeting to order at 10:30. We're located in the village of Broadview Village Chambers, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Madam Secretary, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor Thompson,
Here.
Manager Crumstock,
Here,
Administrator Jones,
Here.
Mr. Scalise,
Here.
Mayor Rebel is absent, Trustee Marzano is absent.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any public comment? And we have not received any electronic either, so no public comment. Next is, I need a motion and a second to approve the March 4th, 2026 board meeting minutes.
motion for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the monthly financial reports for February 2026. Tell me your name again. Hayner?
Yes.
Haley, okay.
So for February, the
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. For February, the total revenues came out to $778,000, and the expenses were $671,000, creating a net income of roughly $107,000. Other than two items, the monthly activity this month was pretty consistent with prior months. Those two items being the second and final loan payment of the fiscal year for the two loans that we share with Brookfield North Riverside Water Commission, and the total of those two were $182,382.93. And the other was the first two payments for the reservoir project for January and February services are scheduled to be paid in March during the disbursement warrant. And the total of those two are $194,804.46. And then for a more broad scope, the interest income continues to fill the gap in the budgeted amount for member revenues. That being said, with where we are in the fiscal year, the budgeted revenues and actual revenues is only under budget by 0.61% now. And the operating expenses, excluding the reservoir project, are under budget by 8.6%, so we're in good standing there as well. Is there any questions?
Manager Barry? Ms. Jones?
No.
Mr. Scalise?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is, we'll go over the budget when we get into under new business. So next is under communications, new business, the consideration and approval of the finance report April 1st, 2026, and the check detail report for March 4th, 2026 through April 1st, and the amount of $755,775.28. Our check numbers from March 5th, 2026 to April 1st, 2026 is check number 30236 through 30267 in the amount of $753,504.93. We had an ACH payment, check number 510 in the amount of $2,270.35. That gives us a total disbursements of $755,775.28. I need a motion and a second.
Motion for approval.
Second.
Manager Barry, you have any questions or comments?
Not today.
Mr. Scalise?
No.
Ms. Jones?
No.
Ms. Jackson, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor Thompson,
Yes.
Manager Crumstock,
Yes,
Administrator Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Scalise.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, I would like to ask for a motion and a second to suspend the regular board meeting to go into the public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 26, 25, fiscal year 27 budget.
make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Ms. Jackson, we need a roll call to go for the public hearing. So now I'll call a regular public hearing to order for the proposed fiscal year 26, fiscal year 27 budget and appropriations for May 1st, 2026 through April 30th, 2027. Ms. Jackson, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor Thompson,
Yes, and the call to order is at 10:37 too, for the record. Yes, here.
Manager Crumstock?
Yes.
Administrator Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Scalise?
Yes.
Mayor Rebel is absent. Trustee Marzano is absent.
So next on the, just to make sure that we had acknowledgement of the public hearing for the public hearing today.
Yes, in the Chicago Sun-Times, notice of this public hearing was published on, in accordance with state law, and I have got the published.
Do we have the date when it was published, attorney? Okay. Okay, thank you. So now we'll have our presentation of the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget by the superintendent and our treasurer.
So, Mayor Thompson and Board, we're actually going to have a special board meeting to continue this because we're currently working on all of the numbers. And I haven't had a chance to get a proposed budget because we're still working on everything.
Okay. So with that being said, the proposed budget is not prepared for discussion today. And so, Attorney Jerusik, do we have to place another ad in the paper for for a special board meeting for a public hearing for this?
No, it's good that you opened the meeting, the public hearing, excuse me, and my suggestion would be that we just continue the public meeting to a date certain. So let's look at our calendars and figure out what a good special board meeting date would be in the next 30 days, or just in April, because we're supposed to have this vetted and approved prior to May 1 each year. Your annual budget is supposed to be approved prior to May 1, so if we could just figure out when in April it looks good for everybody, we would move this public hearing, postpone it or continue it to that next date, have a special meeting, and take care of business. I know we meet on Wednesdays.
So my availability is April 22nd.
I'm good April 22nd.
Let's tentative do April 22nd, and let's check with Mayor Rebo to see if he's available. If not, we may have to push it back to,
I'm available on the 15th, too. Not available on the 18th.
I'm not available. Yes. Let's shoot for April 22nd, because any Wednesday after that, I'm not available, and we would have to go to a Monday or a Tuesday. But let's check with Mayor Rebo and then circle back on the date. So right now, tentative, April 22nd at 10:30.
If we do a motion to continue the public hearing, a formal motion to April 22nd, 10:30.
Oh.
Sure.
Need
I'll
a
make
motion
that
and a second.
motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Really quickly, just for clarification, through legal, I know that municipalities, sometimes if we don't pass our budget, we have 90 days to actually pass it. The agency doesn't have that,
They do, and I think one time in our past, we've gotten into May, but I just always like to have kind of, it's like the top of the hammer, it's like get it done before May, because technically that's what the statutes talk about, for municipalities and agencies, that you're supposed to have your budget done. You're not a taxing entity, so you're a little different in that regard.
that's why I was asking, because I know that we had that 90-day run out for a municipality, but I just didn't know what the agency has, so,
Yeah, and the agency doesn't, I don't see that in the statute.
okay.
And so I always like to encourage water commissions and water agencies to get it done in April before May deadline, but it's different. Nobody could file like an objection to your budget or a tax objection for not getting your budget done over on time because you're not a taxing entity. You're really intergovernmental cooperative, and you get your money through water revenue and also contributions to the community. So you're a little different, but, it's like, to me, it's like
Can we get a roll call, please, Ms. Jackson?
What, can I interrupt real
Oh,
quick?
sure.
Does that give you enough time, Wes? To put together what we need?
So there was conversations had about the board meeting without me at all, so there should be enough time.
Okay. I'm confused on just that statement. So how could we have discussions about a budget without the superintendent? If you want to talk after, I can have a discussion with you about that because that's
Okay.
concerning to me.
Okay. But yeah, there'll be enough time there and board.
And so I do know, Mr. Scalise, I do know that Manager Berry and Ms. Jones have been working with the superintendent to come up with a budget. So the only thing that we need is to see for the board of directors to review the proposed budget before it come back to this body.
Okay, not a
And
problem.
so I guess my follow-up question to what you're asking is, when should we be expecting to see a tentative proposed budget?
Give me a week.
A week, okay. So, in a week, that's about April 8th. Okay, so just make sure the board of directors get a copy of the tentative budget, then that way we can get all of our questions and concerns asked on what you're proposing for our approval. And then we'll schedule the tentative board meeting, checking in with Mayor Rebel's schedule if he can meet on the 22nd.
Okay, not a
All
problem.
right. All right, I need a motion and a second to go back into our regular board meeting.
Motion to go back to open session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At 10:44, Ms. Jackson, going back into regular board
Okay.
meeting. Next on the agenda is consideration and approval for the ordinance 2602 to approve the fiscal 26 fiscal year budget and appropriation. I need a motion and a second to table.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is motion to approve payment estimate number 2 dated March 5th, issued to DN Tanks LLC of Dallas, Texas, for completion of work on a 1.5 million gallon reservoir project in the amount of $105,798.69. I need a motion and a second.
Motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments regarding this payment? Mr. Neal, can we get, Ms. Jackson, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor Thompson,
Yes.
Manager Crumstock,
Yes.
Administrator Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Scalise.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is old business, a status report of the expansion of the agency water reservoir capacity to 1.5 million gallon on the 10th Avenue Pump Station. Do we have any updates? Yep, come on.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The contractor, DN Tanks, has been making good progress. They've dug a huge hole, proof rolled the subgrade, everything looked great. They put a bunch of stone down for the pad, the concrete pad to hold the reservoir. That's all been checked out, it's good. They've cored a hole into cell number 1 for the new intake. They inserted the pipe, put a link seal in, and next step will be putting the valve on the outside next week. So, yeah, they're going pretty well.
Oh, thank you. Any questions or comments about the progress of the project? Can I ask a favor? Can you all capture pictures and videos of what's taking place so that we are able to communicate that to show the residents what's happening over there, and then share with Westchester residents as a collaboration so that they're able to socialize that as well?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. When can we get that?
Tomorrow.
Okay. All right,
right.
no pressure. Thank you.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is a status report for the security cameras upgrades for all agency facilities. Request for proposals for 10th Avenue Pump Station video surveillance upgrades. Mr. Barber, you want to give us some updates? Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
So we contacted 5 vendors, contractors, to see if they would be interested in doing this work. We scheduled appointments with 3 of them. Wesley and I met with them a couple weeks ago. The due date for the proposals was last Thursday, 10 o'clock. By that time, we had only gotten one proposal from, I forget the name of the vendor, but, and it was not submitted on our form, it didn't have a bond.
Okay.
Later in the day, I got an email from a different vendor, he sent me something by email, again, it didn't have a bond, so. Wesley and I were reviewing, it's like apples and oranges, so we need to continue.
Oh, fleshing it out. Okay, so I got a question, and this is a question for the attorney, as we talk about surveillance and security cameras and those types of things. When the proposals come in and we need to approve that, that would be public information to have, but we should have some protocols in place to protect the integrity of the agency where these cameras are placed. So how do we handle that?
Are you talking the bid process, or are you talking
Not the,
about?
well, because in the bid processes give locations and those types of things, so it's identified. But how do we protect the integrity of the security of our infrastructure?
Yeah, that, to me, those documents, to the extent there are documents that we receive from contractors that would be subject to FOIA, we would redact or hold back pursuant to the, the security and the proprietary exemption under FOIA.
Okay,
And so, and that's important as they get presented to the board. You should get a confidential packet from the superintendent and the engineer, with respect to any diagrams or
right.
information, that material that would be confidential, proprietary, trade secret, or security sensitive.
So when the RFPs or RFQs were presented, was that something that was included in RFPs for those proposing the bid?
But when we receive the stuff, we treat that stuff
Okay.
confidential.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we on one page when it comes to the security of the infrastructure, because it's our critical infrastructure. Okay, that's all I have. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Status report on the updated 5-year capital plan improvement for the agency.
The only, I know there was a comment at the last board meeting about updating a couple of the line items to extend them into the 2031 and beyond. I did that the following day, but I did not forward it, but I can forward it to everyone. Other than that, I believe we're okay with the numbers moving forward, unless there's other questions or comments.
I don't have any questions or comments, do you all? Okay, nope, that's it. Next on the agenda is another status report on project scope for the obligations and project costs for the cost-sharing intergovernmental agreement regarding payment of IEPA loan number L1753274 for construction costs of the Fillmore transmission line and the ownership, maintenance, future extension, and operation of the Fillmore transition line for Brookfield North Riverside Water Commission and Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency. So we did get a memo from Attorney Jerusik dated December 17, 2018, and cost share and IGA. Attorney Jerusik, you want to give us some updates on this?
Okay, back in 2018, the board approved this cost sharing agreement with your neighboring water, for purposes of extending.
Can you speak up a little louder? I don't know if your mic is on.
Oh, it is now. I'm sorry, can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, back in 2018, the agency entered into a intergovernmental agreement for cost sharing relative to a supplemental water transmission line, to really have a second supplemental large transmission line as a redundant system coming out of Chicago in case there was ever an emergency, calamity, natural disaster that took out your primary line that has been aging. It's called the Fillmore Joint Water System. That's what ultimately, and the Fillmore Transmission Line, that's what ultimately was built, constructed, and now is operational. Both parties are paying their respective fair share for that portion of the system. But as you can see, in the page 2 of my memo, back then, that board asked for, a breakdown of, this overall project and the phasing of the project and kind of the cost allocation and ownership. So phase 1 of the project is exactly what we talked about. It was this 36-inch redundant water main that was gonna run from Maine from Austin Avenue to Hannah. Broadview, Brookfield North Riverside was gonna pay just over 64%. We were gonna pay 35.75% share of the cost of construction, ownership, maintenance. The next phase 2, if it got built, was this next line, and there was a cost sharing of about 56 to 44% between the two parties, with the water agency paying, 43 and about 0.5% of that phase 2 line that was gonna go from Hannah Avenue to Des Plaines to Roosevelt. Phase 3 of the process, the project, would be 100, and all the rest of the phases, really, it put them, phase 3 through 4, 5, and 6, really pushed the water infrastructure project past Brookfield North Riverside's connection point. And so all those later phases were gonna be, if this agency was gonna move forward with them, it put them 100% cost on the Broadview Westchester Water Agency. So really, it was the first 2 phases were a shared cost between those 2 agencies. Everything after phase 2 was gonna be 100% on the water agency's dime, so to speak. And Mark, confirm with me, we only got done with phase 1. Is that correct, or did we get to
Yes,
phase 2,
no,
right?
we only got the original concept, phase 1 was completed to Hannah. And according to the original concept, phase 2 was no longer gonna be constructed by Brookfield North Riverside because there is an existing water main in Hannah Avenue which goes north to Forest Park and south to their reservoir on Des Plaines, so they are done. So anything future, the agency would be responsible for.
Okay.
And they did that alternate connection that eliminated the phase 2 of the
eliminated-
project. They did that all by themselves on their cost, right?
Well, they no longer felt it necessary to do phase 2 because they connected at Hannah Avenue. So yeah, everything in the future would be at agency cost.
Okay, so let me test my understanding on what took place in 2018, now that all of this has come up, because we put something in place to do work with them, so now that they don't need us, they done kicked us to the curb, basically. Just say yes, it's okay.
I don't know that they kick us to the curb, but this.
They don't need us.
Yeah.
They used us for what they needed, and once they identified that their mains can go somewhere else, they said, we don't need you no more.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's as far as they
I'm real
needed to
clear.
go.
Attorney Jerusik, I'm real clear.
Yep.
I understand.
Just one other clarification. Part of the original concept was the identification of a probable need for a pumping station at the beginning of the line.
But it was exploratory for them to protect their infrastructure, to use our mains. And these are the things, and this is what I like the public to understand, is the mains, we can't see that. We can't see underground, so we don't know, and we're not professional engineers to know what needs to happen. But as we have these conversations and then jobs stop or things happen, we get into understanding more of what really took place. And I'm clear on what took place, so please don't continue
Yeah.
the conversation, because it's gonna go deeper for me,
Okay,
okay?
sure.
But I understand.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about the status report? Thank you. So next on the agenda is a consideration and approval to approve the proposed auditing services for fiscal year 26, 27, and 28 by Selden Fox LTD of Oakbrook Terrence. in the amounts of $12,500 for 26 fiscal year regular audit services, $12,900 for 27 fiscal year regular audit services, and $13,300 for 28 fiscal year regular audit services. And its schedule of professional fees and regular audit services and other professional services. Attached was the appendix for all the proposals and authorized expenditure of the agency funds to pay for performance of such services. I need a motion and a second for approval.
Motion for approval?
Second.
Manager Berry, you have any questions or comments?
No, I know that we've postponed it, and I did talk to the village president. He's comfortable with this.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Scalise? Ms. Jones? No. Ms. Tennille, Ms. Jackson, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Manager Crumstock?
Yes.
Administrator Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Scalise?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the superintendent report.
Excuse me, you can keep that. Good morning. Okay, Mayor Thompson and Board, to answer the question from the last board meeting, the agency received a total of 4 resumes for the superintendent job posting, and the interviews will take place on April the 10th. For the month of March, the agency completed a total of 41 Julie locates along with daily maintenance. The station pumped 98,321,000 gallons of water, and I provided the water use comparison data sheet for March as well. And also, the official groundbreaking ceremony for the new reservoir construction, still waiting on direction from the board on those dates, once we get the schedules confirmed.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for the superintendent, Manager Berry? Ms. Jones?
No.
Mr. Scalise?
No.
So I have a question about the 4 resumes and the 4 potential candidates for April 10th. Who's conducting the interviews?
That would be Manager Berry and Administrator Jones.
Okay, so after those interviews, Manager Berry and Ms. Jones, the finalists of who you want to move forward, you all will make that recommendation to Mayor Rebo and myself for
That is
another
correct.
interview?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions. I don't think we have any business for closed meeting today. I need a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I just want to mention real quickly, happy Passover to everybody who's coming up, and happy Easter coming up on Sunday. We wish everybody peaceful time, especially with the times that we're living in at this point in time. And then, obviously, thank you to Steve and Haley for working with us on the budget. I know that, as Administrator Jones knows, with the change, sometimes we don't always have all the forms and some of the documents, and we're still getting some of those as we get to. But wishing everybody the best.
Thank you, Manager Berry, for bringing up the blessings and peace during this season, which we should all want peace and blessings in our respectful neighborhoods and communities that we live in. We are definitely in some times of uncertainty, but the people that live in communities can change all the dynamics of what really takes place. So blessings to everyone during this Passover season, and happy Earth Day month. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Usual.